Hi, it's Katrina. Did you know that just last year, several lost cities were found thanks to the use of LiDAR? Here are 8 lost cities that were almost lost to history but were recently discovered.
Number 8. City of the Jaguar.
In Honduras in early 2016, archaeologists began excavating the ruins of an ancient unknown civilization that was discovered the year before during a National Geographic expedition. Researchers first became suspicious of the existence of ancient ruins in 2012, when new and advanced airborne laser technology known as LiDAR detected signs of the structures. 3 years later, scientists were able to return to the site. The site was named the City of the Jaguar, and nearly all of its artifacts were untouched, which, according to Mesoamerican archaeologist Christopher Fisher, who was part of the team, is an incredibly rare type of discovery, as you can imagine. When the city was first found, there were 52 statues sticking out of the ground, and the explorers knew that there were probably more that were completely buried.
Within just a month of digging, the Honduran-American team uncovered over 200 sculptures from the pre-Columbian society. An entire laboratory was set up in the nearby town of Catacama solely for the purpose of studying the sculptures excavated from the site. The exact location of the City of the Jaguar was kept a secret to prevent the ruins from being disturbed or robbed, but it's in such a dense area of the jungle, the team of archaeologists had to be transported there by helicopter, courtesy of the Honduran Air Force. Most of the sculptures, some of which were whole and others broken, were found at the base of an earthen mound and were an ofrenda or an offering, according to Fisher. The sculptures contain depictions of snakes, vultures, and strange humanoid figures with triangular heads, the latter of which Fisher believes may have been a death figure. At the center of the sculptures is a large statue of a raven with partially spread wings. The team also found large, ornately carved 3-legged stone tables known as metates, featuring jaguars and geometric designs. Fisher thinks they may have been used as thrones and for transporting the deceased to their final resting places. It's believed that all the artifacts at the site date back to sometime between 1000 and 1520 AD. Much of the site remains to be excavated. There are around 19 settlements within the site, and they were probably all part of a single chiefdom. The area was most likely abandoned due to an epidemic of disease brought by Europeans, and the sculptures uncovered by the archaeologists may have been part of a ritualistic goodbye before the final departure. Number 7. Mahendra Parvata. In 2013 in Cambodia, archaeologists uncovered the 1,200-year-old remains of a lost city called Mahendra Parvata. The city was found using LiDAR, the same airborne laser technology that was used to find the City of the Jaguar. Before putting LiDAR to use, years of ground research by archaeologists had lent credibility to the theory that the Khmer Empire extended beyond well-known temples. Thanks to its remote location in the dense jungle, Mahendra Parvata contains temples that have sat undisturbed for centuries and have also remained free of looters. Mahendra Parvata was founded in 802 AD and was an extension of the ancient city of Angkor Wat. It was the mountain capital of a great warrior named Jayavarman II and was connected by a series of roads, canals, and dikes. Although Mahendra Parvata is covered in thick foliage, the landscape was once devoid of vegetation, according to Damien Evans, director of the University of Sydney's Archaeological Research Centre in Cambodia. He asserted that the environmental impact of deforestation and the city's heavy reliance on a water management system were the most likely causes of its demise. Mahendra Parvata was built sometime between the early to mid-1100s by King Suryavarman II. So far, only a small portion of the city has been uncovered, and its total area remains unknown. Number 6. Rapta. During a helicopter flight over Tanzania's Mafia Island off the southeast African coast in 2016, scuba diver Alan Sutton spotted the submerged remains of the ancient city of Rapta. He had been searching for the ruins of the harbor city for 3 years. Archaeologists from Dar es Salaam University confirmed the findings, which consist of building foundations made from thousands of square and oblong blocks.
Rapta was mentioned in the writings of the ancient Greek scholar Ptolemy and Diogenes, a seaman on the India trade who once visited the city. It was a Roman trading outpost known for its commerce in tortoise shells and metal weapons, and during the 1st century AD grew into an impressive city. In fact, Rapta may have been the first metropolis in Africa. the ruins discovered by Sutton match the descriptions of the city in ancient Roman documents. For yet unknown reasons, Raptus stopped being mentioned in historical writings around 1,600 years ago. And now for number 5. But first, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already.
Number 5. The Lost Fortress of Genghis Khan. In 2001, an old abandoned fort was discovered in southwestern Mongolia, 550 miles away from the nation's capital of Ulaanbaatar, by a team of Japanese and Mongolian archaeologists. They were looking for Genghis Khan's final resting place, but instead happened upon another one of the former ruler's properties. Numerous Chinese pottery shards, animal remains, and wood chips were excavated from the 650 by 650 foot fortress, and geographical features surrounding the ancient building bore a resemblance to a location described in the journal of a medieval Chinese traveler. The uncovered artifacts were carbon dated in 2014. The wood chips and ceramics were determined to be from the 13th century, and the animal remains dated back to the 14th. Based on their findings, the team of archaeologists concluded that the site was a fortress commissioned in 1212 AD by a close aide of Genghis Khan. During Genghis Khan's expansion of his territory over Central Asia, the fortress acted as an important military base. Meanwhile, the tomb of Genghis Khan has yet to be found. According to legend, he was buried in an unmarked location, and anyone associated with his burial was murdered or committed suicide to protect the secrecy of the gravesite. Number 4. Tenaya. Greece's cultural ministry announced in November 2018 the discovery of the ancient lost city of Tenaya. Researchers had long known about the city, which has been mentioned in several ancient texts, and had finally excavated enough artifacts that gave clues about Tenaya's existence and whereabouts. The city's urban fabric, including door openings, roads, walls, tombs, and floors, was finally uncovered in the southern region of Peloponnese. Pottery and coins were also found during the excavation. In an interview with CNN, lead archaeologist Elena Korka explained that the presence of children's tombs was a hint that they had discovered residences, because only children were buried inside buildings during Roman times. After the Trojan War, Trojan prisoners were allegedly given permission to build their own city, and Tenaya is believed to be that place. Artifacts that were uncovered during the excavation indicate that Tenaya was a prosperous and affluent city. Coins that were found date back to the Roman Emperor Septimius Severus, who ruled from 193 to 211 AD, and are a sign of economic success within Tenaya. According to a statement released by the ministry, the city was likely damaged by Visigoths between 396 and 397 AD, and was probably abandoned around 200 years later during Slavic raids. Tough times. Number 3. Angamuco.
Thanks yet again to LiDAR technology, the true scale of Angamuco, a lost city located in modern-day western Mexico, was revealed in early 2018. It was first discovered in 2007, and archaeologists attempted to conduct a ground exploration of the city. However, due to the area's rugged terrain, it would have taken a decade to investigate thoroughly without the use of LiDAR. Starting in 900 AD, Angamuco was built by the Purépecha, a civilization who thrived into the 16th century and were rivals to the Aztecs.
Some descendants of the Purépecha currently live in communities near the civilization's former capital of Tzintzuntzan, but Angamuco collapsed sometime before the arrival of Europeans. Angamuco contained 40,000 buildings, as many as Manhattan currently has, but covered a much smaller area of just 16 square miles. Think about that for a second. Over 100,000 people are thought to have lived in the city during its heyday between 1000 and 1350 AD. Archaeologists have found over 7,000 architectural features, including ball courts, pyramids, gardens for growing food, road systems, and temples. Chris Fisher, the same guy from number 8, an archaeologist at Colorado State University, explained the seriousness of the discoveries that are being made in the Americas using LiDAR. Right now, every textbook has to be rewritten, and 2 years from now, they're going to have to be rewritten again. Pretty exciting stuff. Number 2, Etzanoa. In August 2018 in Arkansas City, Kansas, archaeologists announced the discovery of evidence of a city called Etzanoa. The city was first described during the 16th century by Spanish conquistadors and is the second oldest known Native American settlement. The site curves around the bend of a river northeast of Arkansas City and extends for 10 miles. According to records, Spanish conquistador Juan de Oñate was directed to the site by local Native Americans in 1601 during his search for riches. Oñate described the city as being surrounded by corn and squash fields and consisting of over 1,000 thatched roof houses. The conquistadors estimated that 20,000 people lived in Etzanoa. Initially, the people here welcomed the conquistadors. Their hospitality was not reciprocated, however, and a force of 1,500 of the city's residents fought back when the Spanish began taking hostages, causing them to flee and never return. A century later, when French explorers arrived at the site, it had been abandoned, most likely due to diseases brought to the so-called New World by Europeans or because of crop failure. Number 1. Qin Aang. Earlier this year, a LiDAR screening revealed the extent of the ruins of an ancient city in Africa known as Qin Aang, located in the Suikerbosrand Hills near present-day Johannesburg. The city was occupied by Tswana speakers from the 15th century until the mid-1800s, and was one of several such settlements that existed in northern South Africa prior to encounters with Europeans in the early 19th century. All of the Tswana city-states collapsed in the 1820s during the Difakan civil wars. Much of Qin Aang was uncovered by archaeologists in decades preceding the use of LiDAR, but like several other cities on today's list, its full expanse could not be recognized or thoroughly mapped until LiDAR came along. Qin Aang was 10 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide, and somewhere between 750 and 850 homesteads have been counted, although the size of its population is unknown. Based on knowledge of more recent Tswana settlements, researchers speculate that it may have been customary for extended families consisting of a husband, more than one wife, and their children to live together under one roof. Throughout Qin Aang, archaeologists have found mounds containing animal bones, ash from cattle dung, and pieces of broken pottery. The mounds were piled up in front of different homes and were the remainders of feasts, serving as symbols of a household's status and wealth.
As technology continues to advance and becomes more affordable, it's likely that more ancient cities will be discovered. So there may just be hope that we might find the real El Dorado or even Atlantis. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye!